Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'll be talking about the theory of a tire repair. Like I said, I went online. Well, prior to that, I just want to let you guys know that I ended up getting a nail in my tire. I found it on over the weekend. The way I discovered it was on Friday. I realized that my car started pulling in one direction, and I was thinking that's a bit odd. I didn't hit any potholes or anything like that. So on the weekend, I was thinking, well, I should check my tire pressure because it's been a while since I checked it, and everyone should check your tire pressure at least once a month. It's good practice. It's also good to inflate your tires and keep it at the proper pressure just to save your gas mileage, as well as it will also be an indicator if you have any kind of problems with your tires. And anyways, so I got a nail in the tire and I'm gonna do a repair. And I realized online there isn't much information on a tire repair. I guess people think it's so basic, but there's actually a lot to think about when you're doing a tire repair. So I just wrote some notes here. I did it last night. I may be missing some things, but I got the major topics covered. So I'll be doing the tire repair probably Friday or Saturday. Yesterday I picked up this tire repair kit. So it's a Monkey Grip tire repair kit. I'm waiting on the plugs. I ordered a different set of plugs. I'm using this kit because I like the weight of the handles. I used to have my own tire repair kit, but I left it back at home, and those of you who've been following my channel know that I relocated recently, so I don't have all my tools with me. So anyways, this tire repair kit was about $10 from Lowe's. The plugs that I'll be using is a brand called Safety Seal. It's a brand that I've used prior, and it's a brand that I like. I've also used another brand called Tire Tech. I'm not too fond of that brand as it tends to leak more often. And I do not usually use the plugs that come with the kit unless absolutely necessary. I will be using the glue though that is in this kit because glue is more or less the same. So anyway, so I'm going to go over the theory on a tire repair. So you basically have three types of punctures. This is for a puncture tire repair. This is not for valve core, valve stem problem or rim problem. So your three major punctures are going to be the straight puncture, which is this first one here. This first one here is the typical, and this is the most easiest tire repair because it's in one straight line into the tire. So if you can imagine this being the tire, it's sorry, my drawings suck, but that's the way it is. So anyway, so the straight line is the most easiest ideal situation. The second situation is the diagonal tire repair. So when you're performing your first tire repair, when you do your repair, you will come in at the exact same angle this way. So you will repair your tire and plug it directly straight down. And this will be the ideal situation, and it's easy. Anyone can do this repair. It takes a lot of force, but I'm sure if you tried it, you could probably get this done. The second situation is the diagonal puncture. This one, see, when I see it online, a lot of people don't mention that nails can go in diagonally. So when you puncture diagonally, what happens is that the nail is going in this way, and if you repair it as the same situation in situation one here, what's going to happen is you're going to make two punctures. You're going to make one, although it seems like you're going through this major hole here, but you're making two punctures. So what you need to do is you need to go in at the same angle that the nail comes out. Because if you go in this way, what's going to happen is your tire will bubble, and it will not be immediately, when you check it, it will not leak through here, but you would actually hope that it does leak through here. And the reason is because if it leaks through here, you can actually repair it properly a second time. But if it doesn't leak through here, then what's going to happen is that as your tire gets hot, your air that is inside the tire will start to seep through the middle X section here, and you're going to start to develop a bubble. and that's something that you do not want. And once that happens, that's too bad for your tire. And then the third situation is the worst situation, which is the multi-angle tire repair. So in this case, a lot of times it cannot be done if it is going in straight this way and then it turns into the thread. So there are some cases where you will encounter this. That's because the tire, when you roll over it, it will bend the nail and it goes in this way. So if it's in the thread at a right angle or even at a 45-degree angle or whatever angle, if it's going in multi, chances are you will not be able to properly repair it. If you're lucky, it'll fully puncture into the tire. And the only way you can detect all of these three situations is you have to keep an eye on your nail. If your eyes are distracted and you look away while you're yanking out your nail, you're not going to be able to catch which angle you're coming in at or coming out of. So you need to be very careful when you pull out your nail and to make sure that you've got one of these three situations. And I say that situation 3 is very difficult. Situation 3, I would recommend going to a tire shop and probably doing a patch plug if your tire is worth repairing. If you don't care, you could still try to plug it and hopefully that the bubble won't form and you can keep going on. Like I said, situation 3 can be fine if the puncture is directly down into the nail or directly down into the tire at its angle. So, but if it goes in a multi-angle, then you're kind of screwed. So you have multiple types of tire leaks. Okay, so you got your regular puncture, which are these 3 situations. Here, you've got a rim mount situation where the tire will not seal properly here. And so there is a problem with certain brands of tires. They have like little barcodes on the inside and they can actually create a leak between the rim and the tire. So in this situation, you might have to remove the barcode and then that will cure your problem. Other times you might have some rust or something on your rim. You might have to sand it off or whatever. So that can cause a rim mount leak. Also, if you have a bent rim or something like that, something obvious that will cause you to leak in this situation here. So the other thing is a valve stem. So if you have a valve stem, it could be leaking from the core, which is where you actually insert your air. It may look something like this, and you just push your chuck in to let the air in. That could be leaking, as well as around the valve stem, the actual rubber component here, or the mounting area to the rim. That is where it could leak. And the last situation is a natural leak. So a natural leak, you'll notice it especially during winter. So if you filled your tires in the summer and then you check your tire pressure in the winter, you'll realize that there could be a dramatic drop of like 10 psi. And that's actually perfectly fine. So this is not a tire repair situation. If you have 4 tires that are equal in drop, about 10 psi, 5 psi, whatever, if the drop is equal among 4 tires, chances are that it happened naturally, so you don't have anything to worry about there. So now the ideal place of the puncture of your tire, talking about situation 1 here again, so you want it to be within this purple region here. Any tire damages or punctures in this region here, it could leak even though you repair it. And the reason is because there's a wire mesh in this region here, and that wire mesh is what keeps your puncture in place. So, and as it gets closer to the edge here, you're going to realize that there is no wire mesh here. And so, and another thing too is that if you're running a tire, let's say like 225, let's say it's like 65, maybe even 70, it doesn't matter the rim size, because of this number being a very high number, this refers to the aspect ratio. and the aspect ratio is a percentage of the tire width and the tire height. So usually with a 65/70, you're going to have a very big space here, and what that causes is that there's a lot of flexing at the edge. So if you have a higher aspect ratio, what's going to happen is when you're driving and this part of the tire, let's say you have a puncture here, and this part of the tire comes to the bottom here, that there's going to be a flex, and that flex is going to cause a leak. So that's the reason why you do not want a tire repair done at the edge of the tire. So this is just some quick things here. So you do not want to do a tire repair if there's a sidewall damage. Sidewall is the side of the tire here, as well as if it's in the out of this purple region range. And you do not want a hole that is extremely large. People do double stuffed tire plugs. I do not recommend that. It's just a recipe for disaster. It doesn't happen right away, and you will drive off thinking that you got a deal if somebody could repair such a large hole, but in the long run you're going to need to replace your tire. But of course, like I said, if there's any situation where you're going to get rid of the tire soon, or if you're going to get rid of the car, then so be it. Do not repair anything with odd swelling. Also, do not repair anything that has a rim or a tire that has like a fold line like that. That's usually an indicator that the person ran it flat and the tire sidewall has already weakened due to the person driving on a flat tire for a while. And it doesn't take very long for that to happen. And of course, it's just the opposite. You want your tire repair done if it's within this region here, and if it's less than 55 millimeters, in a form of a circle. So if you have 55 millimeters going in a straight line like that, you can't possibly be plugging it so many times like that. That will become a problem. So this is just a quick thing here. Tools required. I mean, you're just gonna need. So if you got a puncture which is done with a screw, use a screwdriver. That just makes it so much easier. You don't even have to bother trying to yank out your screw. I personally like diagonal cutters. Some people like needle nose pliers. Some people like pliers like this. I personally don't like using this, although I mean you do get a better grip, but there's a reason why I like diagonal cutters. It just uses less energy. The hardest part about using diagonal cutters is actually getting a good grip. But once you get a good grip, you have a pry angle here. So when you're prying your nail out or whatever it is, you can grab it and then you can use the tire to lift in this motion. And I'll show you how I'll do mine, and it makes it so much easier. Whereas if you use something like this and you grab onto the nail and then you pull it, when you're almost at the edge, you'll realize, especially if you're squatting, you might fall on your butt because you'll be coming out at such a strong force. You're going to need a honing tool. A honing tool is like the one back here. I don't know if you can see. I haven't opened this yet, but there's like this kind of knurled edge. Some look like a drill. You can also use a drill to hone out the hole, but you do not want to oversize it, because if you oversize it, then you're going to need 2 plugs, or if not, it cannot be plugged at all. You're going to need your plug or your patch or your combination patch plug. Best plug situation will be your patch plug combo. You can also use a chemical sealer, which I do not recommend. I'll go into that later. And then you're going to need your cutting device, which is your razor blade. Or you could also use your side cutter thing here too. And then the next thing here is, so you have your choices for puncture. Again, this is not for valve stem, valve core. So you have your patch, you have your patch plug. This will require the removal of your tire as well as dismounting it from the rim. The reason is because when you do a patch is basically a sticker. So you're just sticking it onto the hole from the inside. Patch plug is just a sticker plus the plug. So the reason why it needs to be removed is that you need to grind basically the inner part of the tire. And the reason why you need to grind it, which is another thing that's not mentioned, is that the inner part of the tire has a lot of like kind of like patterns on it. It could be like squiggly lines or like dots and stuff. So in order for anything like any kind of sticker, you need a flat surface. So that is the whole purpose of the grinding. So you're grinding down all this thing until it's smooth, and then you're going to need to put your glue on and then stick it. So, and then the patch plug is you're drilling that hole out, doing the same grinding, you're sticking your plug through the hole, and then from the outside you will yank your plug out, and then the same thing, you're sticking your glue on the inside, plugging your hole that way. Now the plug is something, well, that's basically this thing, this gooey mesh thing here. And what you're doing is from the outside, you're just plugging it in. So what is the best thing to use? Well, in my opinion, if I had to rank this as one being the best, this will be the best, this will be your second best, and this will be your third. And the reason why I rank it this way is because, so your patch plug, you're having double protection. You're getting your seal from the inside as well as you're getting your seal from the actual plug itself. The plug I feel is better than the patch, and that's because the plug, you're at least plugging the hole, whereas the patch, if it's not done right, so the benefit of the plug is if you screw up, you can replug it again. Whereas the patch, if you screw up, you're having to dismount your tire, taking off the rim again, doing it all over again. It's a waste of time. So that's why I would rate it in this fashion. And then the last thing to do with a puncture, or the last type of repair, is the chemical sealer. Some people call it the Fix-A-Flat. There's slime. So this cannot be used on any modern car today. The reason is because you're going to ruin your tire pressure sensor. And if you stick this stuff in there, there's a lot of it is like a liquid-based chemical. Slime is like a combination of materials plus a liquid-based chemical, and it's going to foul up your tire pressure sensor, and you're going to be screwed up after that, because the cost of a tire pressure sensor is going to be more than the actual tire. So do not use this on a modern car. If you have pressure sensors on your car, do not use it. If you don't have it, like let's say you got like a 1990s car, you're perfectly fine using this. It really sucks as a tire tech though if you're taking off your tire and then you find all this chemical inside the rim. I really used to hate that when I was a younger tech. So that's pretty much it, you guys. Like I said, going back to it, this is just a theory, and I might have missed some topics on tire repairs, but this is the general idea of how it works. If you guys have any questions, if you guys have any suggestions, just let me know down below. And subscribe if you guys want to see the actual tire repair done. Like I said, I'm just waiting on the plugs that I ordered. When I get that in, I'll have it done, and you guys can just visually see how it's done. And anyways, so that's pretty much it. Thanks, guys.